This was supposed to be the happiest time of my life. I'm the marketing director of a big, respected advertising company. I live in a beautiful penthouse on the Upper East Side, where I can see all of Manhattan from my windows. I've been married to James for 2 years now. He works as an executive for a growing tech startup, and I'm 7 months pregnant with our first child. We had waited so long for this baby, and now it was finally happening. At my last doctor's appointment, everything looked great. The baby was healthy. I was healthy. Everything felt perfect. Just last weekend, James and I visited the baby section at Bergdorf Goodman. We ended up buying a tiny Chanel cardigan for the baby. James looked at me with such love and said, "Emily, our baby will be just as kind and beautiful as you." His words brought tears to my eyes. I felt so lucky, so full of love. Most mornings, I go to brunch at Sarabeth's, then I take long walks in Central Park. The city feels like a movie lately, peaceful, magical. Now that the morning sickness is gone, I've been able to enjoy my days again. But even in all this happiness, there's one shadow I can't ignore: my mother, Diana Spencer. My mother lives a life that belongs in a magazine. She's married to a rich real estate mogul, Charles Spencer, and is one of New York's high society women. She spends her summers in the Hamptons, her winters in Aspen. She attends every charity gala and never steps out of the house without looking perfect. With her Hermès scarf, her diamonds, and her chauffeur-driven Bentley, she is the queen of her world. My older sister Karen is the favorite. She's a successful model and recently got engaged to a famous actor. Mother adores her. Karen is always in the spotlight, posing on yachts, attending celebrity parties, and being featured in glossy magazines. She's exactly what Mother wanted in a daughter: glamorous, admired, and part of the elite. When my parents divorced 20 years ago, I was just a child. After that, I never heard from my father again. Mother told me to forget about him. I later found out she was hiding all his letters, Christmas cards, birthday cards, probably throwing them out before I even saw them. Things started to change when I got pregnant. Instead of being happy for me, Mother and Karen grew distant and cold. One day, Karen's fiancé said he was excited about having children, and suddenly, Mother looked at me and said, "Karen's child will be my real grandchild." She said it right there in our family's reception room, surrounded by old portraits and antique furniture, fidgeting with one of her heirloom rings. Another time, I met her on Madison Avenue. As soon as she saw my baby bump, she frowned. "You always disappoint me," she said. Her voice was cold and sharp, and I felt like I'd been slapped. Next week, I was going to host a baby shower at the Plaza Hotel. I had invited 30 guests. It was supposed to be a celebration full of joy and love. The ballroom on the 3rd floor was all ready: champagne, non-alcoholic cocktails, a beautiful cake to reveal the baby's gender. I even had a baby memory book, where guests could leave kind messages and blessings for the baby. But something about the RSVP cards from Mother and Karen made my stomach twist. They were written on expensive paper, but the words didn't feel warm. "I'll be there," Mother wrote. "After all, it's a prestigious venue." Her tone was cold and distant, and I could still remember the judgment in her eyes. Whenever I write a holiday card for her, I freeze. I stare at the blank card for minutes,
not knowing what to say.
Why is it that my own family can't just be happy for me? Why does something that should be so full of love feel so heavy? On the morning of the baby shower, sunlight poured through the grand windows of the plaza. The chandeliers sparkled, the decorations were in soft pinks and blues, tables were covered in white linen, and tiny floral baby shoes were scattered across like fairy gifts. Pearls decorated the walls. It looked like something out of a dream. My college friend Sarah touched my shoulder. "Emily, it looks beautiful." "Thank you," I said, though I was still nervous inside. She smiled gently. "Don't worry about your mother. We're all here for you." She had stayed up late with me on the phone last night, listening to my worries and letting me cry. Soon, the guests began to arrive. James's parents came, my co-workers showed up, and some familiar faces from the city's social scene. The room filled with warmth and laughter. People sipped their drinks and admired the cake. As I opened gifts, the room lit up with smiles and kind words. Baby shoes from Chanel, a Burberry blanket, little outfits from Dior. "Look at this, it's a limited edition. The cashmere is so soft, perfect for the baby." My co-workers left sweet messages in the baby book. James's mother cried when she wrote, "The beginning of a beautiful family." Then, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "I will protect you. Trust me. No name, but the way it was written, it reminded me of a letter I had found long ago, when I was 16, a letter hidden in Mother's desk. Before I could think more about it, the whole room shifted. Sorry to keep you waiting, Emily. I turned around, and there was Mother, earlier than expected. She looked perfect, as always, her scarf, her suit, her flawless makeup, but her eyes were full of something cold and cruel. Karen was beside her, holding a glass of wine, smiling like she was daring someone to say something. She looked like a model from a magazine, dressed in head-to-toe designer clothes, but her smile had a sharp edge. "Why are you here so early?" I asked. Mother didn't reply. She just walked toward me, her heels echoing in the room. "Why are you doing this?" she asked loudly. The room fell silent. All the laughter stopped. "What do you mean?" I asked, confused. "Don't act innocent," she snapped. "You're having a baby before your sister. That's not acceptable." James started to come toward me, but Mother raised her voice again, even louder. "I won't allow this. Karen's baby will be my real grandchild, not yours." It felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. Then, something terrifying happened. Mother raised her high heel as if she was about to kick me. I quickly curled up, protecting my belly. Karen laughed, a high, awful sound. Someone screamed. A glass shattered on the ground. Karen sneered, "We don't need another baby in this family." Everything froze. Then a deep, steady voice echoed from the back of the room. "So you've finally shown your true colors, Diana." The room went silent. Mother turned pale. Karen's hand shook, her wine glass slipped, and red wine splashed across the white carpet. That voice, it had been 20 years. But I knew it instantly. "Father," Karen whispered, her voice shaking. Everyone stared. James pulled me close, reaching for his phone. "I'm calling security." I stopped him. "Wait." Tears filled my eyes, but this time, they were tears of something else, something stronger. Hope. I had waited 20 years for this moment. The chandelier sparkled above us. My father walked forward, slowly, calmly. He wore a navy suit, and he looked exactly how I remembered. His eyes were kind, his face was older, wiser, but it was him. "Emily," he said. He called my name. I stepped forward, my legs unsteady. I remembered everything. The summer I was 16, the letter I found hidden in Mother's desk, the envelope marked, "To my beloved daughter." Inside, he had written, "If your mother has thrown away all my other letters, maybe this one will find you. I'll keep writing, hoping one day you'll read my words." After that, I searched for his letters every chance I got. I found one almost every month, hidden in drawers, behind books, between pages of old magazines. I kept them all. And now, after all these years, he was finally here. And I was no longer alone. I had hoped to sit in the front row, to see you up close, but the seats were full, and I had to stay at the back of the hall. Still, I could see your beautiful smile shining even from a distance. You stood up there so confidently, and your speech touched my heart. "I heard you got a job at an advertising agency." Of course you did. You've always been smart and creative. I felt so proud of you in that moment. I imagined how nervous you must have been on your first presentation day, but I know you probably did an amazing job. The letters you sent came with a P.O. box return address, so I never had a way to write back. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Mother watched me constantly, checking every move I made. There was no privacy, no freedom. That changed 2 months ago. I was scared. Mother and Karen were acting more and more strangely, and I felt trapped. That's when I finally decided to reach out. I remember my hands shaking as I typed the email. My heart pounded as I hit send. "Dad, I've been reading your monthly letters since I was 16. Now I need your help. I want to protect this child." Just a few hours later, in the middle of the night, my phone lit up with a new message. My heart jumped. "I'll be there. Leave it to me. I won't leave you alone again." When I told him the date and location of the baby shower, he replied with just one sentence. "Emily, I won't let anyone hurt you anymore. I promise." "Emily, come here." My father's voice called me back to the present. That's when Mother screamed. Her voice no longer sounded graceful or composed. It was sharp and bitter. "You have no rights. Where were you these last 20 years?" But Father stayed calm. His voice was strong, filled with years of pain and determination. Rights? Yes, I do have rights, the right to protect my daughter, and now, to protect my grandchild. James stepped forward and stood next to me. Just being there, he gave me strength. He looked at my father. You must be Emily's father. Yes, father said, a father who has thought about his daughter every single day for 20 years. The two men shook hands, firmly and respectfully. In that moment, I felt it. This was what a real family felt like, not perfect, but honest and loving. As mother opened her mouth to yell again, the doors to the hall opened, security entered, the room went quiet. Please escort these people out, James said calmly but firmly. We'll be reporting this attempted harm to an unborn child to the police. The security footage has been saved. Mother and Karen had no choice. Security began walking them out. Mother turned around, her face no longer flawless. Her makeup was smeared, her expression twisted with rage. Emily, you're a Spencer, she shouted. I stood tall and replied clearly, for the first time in my life, without fear. No, I am my father's daughter, and I will be this child's mother. As they disappeared through the doors, father gently placed his hand on my shoulder. That one simple touch filled something inside me that had been empty for 20 years. We need to talk about what really happened back then, he said quietly. You deserve to know the truth. The guests were leaving, offering kind words as they passed. I'm so happy you found your father again. What a beautiful reunion. This is what family truly means. Sarah stayed until the end, helping clean up. Her eyes were full of tears, but they were happy ones. Emily, today wasn't easy, she said, hugging me, but it was right. This was supposed to happen. I nodded. Yes, it was meant to be. Later, in a quiet VIP room on the top floor, we sat together, father, James, and me, outside the window. Manhattan's tall buildings were painted gold and orange by the setting sun. The sky looked like it was blessing this new beginning. Father looked at me gently and began to speak, his voice calm and serious. 20 years ago, everything changed. It started with your mother's plan, one I didn't see coming. I took a deep breath and listened. My company was finally doing well, he explained, while others were failing. We were growing. Our new business model was just beginning to work. James nodded, understanding. That's when your mother met Charles Spencer, father continued. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, meeting at a charity event, but it wasn't. She planned it all. He paused and looked down at the glass in his hand. She had been studying Charles Spencer for 6 months, his habits, his money, everything. Then she changed. She suddenly became interested in certain charities, always showing up where he would be. I felt a chill run through me. That was only the beginning, father said. She started setting me up, creating false evidence. He pulled a worn envelope from his pocket and handed it to me. Inside were copies of diary pages. I saw her neat handwriting describing every step of her plan. It was terrifying. She waited until I went on a business trip. Then she faked photos of me with a secretary, created fake phone records, altered receipts. Everything was carefully crafted. But why? I asked. Because Charles Spencer had more money. She wanted a richer life. I was doing well, but it wasn't enough for her. James leaned forward. Did you try to fight back? I had no chance, father said. When I returned, everything was already in motion. She had told everyone I was cheating. The company's name was at risk. I had to step away, for your sake. He stood and looked out the window. But I never stopped loving you. I wrote letters every month, hoping one day you would see them. Why did she hide them? I asked. She was afraid of losing her new life, her marriage to Charles, her place in society. She hid everything that could ruin her image. I was stunned. Did Karen know? Father shook his head slowly. No, but your mother spoiled her, gave her everything. That shaped who she became. James added, we've reported what Karen and your mother did today. The cameras caught everything. Father nodded. Yes, this is the end. I also have proof of your mother's past dealings, her connection with Charles Spencer and secret money transfers. He pulled out another envelope. Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a local news alert. Real estate tycoon Charles Spencer to hold emergency press conference after wife's misconduct exposed. Father looked calm. Charles has already seen everything. What happened today was the final straw. Outside, I heard an ambulance siren in the distance. The city kept moving. A full moon lit up the sky. Father turned to me, his eyes full of love. Emily, it's all right now, you're not alone anymore. Let's walk forward, together, as a real family. I looked at him, then at James. There was no more pretending, no more lies, only love, and the promise of a new beginning.